Good morning, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Another cooking demo today. So what we're going to cook is in this packet mix. It's from Greens and it's a tiramisu. So yep, that's my trick to make a really nice tiramisu. Those images of late, for those who've been following me, that's seen the tiramisu that I've put on my Facebook page, etc., and a few other Facebook groups. I use these packet mixes, so don't tell anyone. One day I'm going to make one fresh. I'm sure if I made it fresh with the fresh ingredients, the right ingredients, it'll come out really good. But where I live, it's very difficult to get those ingredients that's required to make these. Okay, so first thing now, the ingredients. Now, most of what we need is inside this. But there are a few other things we need. So we need 2 eggs, 100 mils of water, and we need 40 grams of melted butter, which we're going to do shortly. We need a pan. Okay, you see the pan. And on the base of the pan, to prepare the pan, I smear it with some butter, and then I put a baking paper on the base. And then what we'll do next is we'll just mix a bit of flour in there just to help it to release on the side as well. And the only other ingredients we need to make the mascarpone is 300 mils of thickened cream, which is in the fridge, and we'll grab that out when we need it. Now the oven needs to be preheated at 180 degrees or 160 degrees Celsius. Fan force, if you've got fan force oven, or if you've got a combination you want to use the one. I've got my oven set at 180 degrees. So the next thing we do, we need a mixing pan, something to mix the ingredients in, and a blender, what do you call this? Mixer. But before we do that, we're going to fire this little Origo 3000 fuel stove up and heat this butter up so it's melted. So these Origo stoves are excellent, and I'm using my trusty little non-stick Uniflame fry pan that came with my Uniflame cook set. Next thing we need, we'll just go through and I'll read this. Place sponge mix, eggs and water into a small mixing bowl. So I've got a small mixing bowl. So we'll just open this up and put the sponge mix in. I've got a new videos coming up soon. I've got some new items that are being sent to me, and they should be in the post hopefully tomorrow, and I should receive them by the end of the week, I'm hopeful. I won't give anything away, so just keep tuned to my YouTube channel for some new products. That's going to slightly change my camping setup, because you know how my camp setup is fairly quick at the moment. Well, this new product is coming. It's actually going to make it even quicker in some ways. So I won't say any more, otherwise it'll give away what it is. So we'll just crack these 2 eggs. Put them in the bowl and add the water. Now that's already melted. So let's turn this off. Now that melted butter, we don't add that in here first. What we need to do is mix this up first, and then we add the melted butter in, and we just fold it in gently. And then we pour it into our baking tray that we've got here, a baking dish, and that goes pop straight into the oven. Just start mixing this at a low heat, low speed. Now, in theory, you'd be able to, I can't see any reason why you can't make this when you're out camping, especially with the travel buddy. Now in theory I can't see why you could not make this when you're camping, especially if you own one of the Travel Buddy camp ovens, 12 volt camp ovens or something similar. So you want to preheat it for a while, so turn it on and preheat it for say at least half an hour, preferably 45 minutes. Get that temperature up maximum, as high as you can, and then place your cake pan inside, and that should work. We'll give it a go one day. That's been close enough to 5 minutes now. So as I mentioned before, what we'll do now is we've just got to gently fold that butter into the batter here. So in the instructions it says to do this step very gently. Just enough until that melted butter is mixed in. What we do now, we just tip this in here. Now the instruction says bake for 30 to 35 minutes. I usually find 30 minutes is pretty good for my oven. So while that's baking in the oven, we can start to prepare the rest of the ingredients. So the next ingredient we need to make now is the coffee base that pours over the cake mix. And to do that we need 250 mils of boiling water. So I've got the kettle on right now, it's boiling the water, so that shouldn't be too far. I've got the measuring jug here, and I've got the coffee that's included with the Greens Tiramisu kit. And to do that we need like a little metal and little stainless steel mixing bowl. So what we'll do is we're going to pour the coffee into the stainless steel mixing bowl. Okay, so we've finished with the little Origo stove, so I'm going to put it away over here. So that's the coffee mixture. Now if you're making this yourself at home, you can use your own coffee, just grind the coffee up. Make a nice coffee. And I've got plenty of really nicely roasted coffee beans. So I'm just crushing this up a bit, it's a little bit lumpy. So that water's boiled now, so we're just going to measure our 250 mils or 1 cup of boiling water. And then with the fork, we're just going to mix that until it's all combined. And then we'll put that aside to cool down. Now next we're going to make the mascarpone. And it comes with this mascarpone mix. Okay, so you can see there. So I'm going to reuse this bowl that I used to mix the batter in. So I'll just give this a rinse and a clean. So what I like to use is the Paul's thickened cream, regular thickened cream. And you get this from Coles. So I'm sure Woolworths will sell it as well here in Australia. So I'm based in Australia if you're wondering where these are available. So now we're ready to make the mascarpone. So we've got the packet here, so we'll just pour the mascarpone mixture into the pan here. And now we've got the Paul's thickened regular cream, which is 300 mils. Which is exactly 300 mils is what's required. So you can actually buy this container, which is exactly 300 mils. And all we do there now is whip it up until it's at the right consistency. So you want it fairly thick. In the instructions it says to a small mixing bowl add mascarpone filling mix and and thickened cream mixed with an electric on low speed until ingredients are combined, and mix on high speed until soft peaks are taking form, and taking care not to overbeat. $220, 240 watts, 50 hertz, 250 watts. Oh, there you go. So that's only 250 watts. So you know that means there's no problems. I'll be able to use this on the setup that I've got for camping. My inverter is 600 watts. So that's all you need, just a little cheap mixer. That's it. We're done. Now that didn't take too long. What did that take? 3-4 minutes? I'm going to save that. The best part is to lick these. This mascarpone mixture, it's beautiful. It's yum. Love it. So I'm going to enjoy that. And left over what's in here, I'll do the same there. You can see there. So we've got a nice soft peak there. So it should be able to tip that bowl upside down, and that should be fine. So that's it. That's all the preparations done. So the next step to do is wait till that cake's cooked, and then we've got to put it on a cooling tray and let that cool for a while. And then what we're going to do is we're going to remove the cake out of that dish that I'm using to cook it in, and we're going to cut it in half, equal halves. And then we'll put the bottom part back inside that dish. We'll wait till it's all cooled down. Needs to be cooled down before you do that. And then half of that coffee mixture will be poured in there. And then we're going to put a layer of the mascarpone cream. And then the top part we're going to put back on the top of that. And then we'll do the same again. We'll pour the rest of the coffee over the top. And then we'll put the rest of the mascarpone on the top. And then I've got some chocolate powder I use to sprinkle over the top. I do add something extra though. The last 3 times I've made it, I've added something. I'll grab it out of the cupboard and show you what it is. Just bear with me. So I added this drink that they make in Bundaberg, which is famous, Bundaberg is famous for the Bundaberg rum. So I add a little bit of that to it, and that makes it extra nice. It's really nice. My mum loves the tiramisu with a little bit of this here. So I'll probably put about 4 or 5 tablespoons and mix it in. 2.5 on the bottom, about the same on the top. If you go any more than that, it starts getting too strong of a taste. So I'll show you how I do that later, so we'll put that aside. So in the meantime, let me see how long this has got left to cook. That's got another 16 minutes left to go. This here, let's give this another mix. That's all we can do for now. So welcome back. It's almost 40 minutes later. Well, it's almost 20 minutes later now. So that's the coffee sufficiently mixed up now. So we'll just check and see how many minutes. So literally it's just counting down the seconds now. We've got 50 seconds to go. But I like to use like a little skewer and poke into the cake mixture to see how well it's cooked. So what we'll do is we'll just grab my little oven mitts, make some room here, and I'll bring the cake mixture over to here. So just bear with me and I'll just check. It looks pretty good to me. Yep, that came out dry. So let's turn this oven off and we'll bring this out. So what we'll do now is we'll need to let that cool down. No, 30 minutes. So I think on mine it's between 30 to 35 minutes. So you can see how well and nicely that rised. So we're going to leave that in here for 5 minutes. That helps as it heats as it cools down, it helps to pull it away a bit from the sides, I believe. And then I also use this rubber spatula or plastic spatula just to run it down the sides, just to release it. So we've got to grab a cake cooling. So this is one of those cake cooling racks. So we're going to use that. And I like to use a nice good quality Japanese bread knife, finest Japanese steel. As you can see, I like the Japanese products. I think the Japanese make a very good products. Ooh. So while we're waiting for this to cool down, I might talk a bit about future plans, what I've got. I think I've got another camping trip coming up in about a week and a half time. I'm going away for 2 or 3 days and catching up with some of the guys that I went camping with down in Bluff Creek a couple of weeks ago. It's going to be Rob, Annie, Stephen, little Ali, I'm sure will be there. And there's going to be a couple of others coming up from further up north. I think it's a guy I know is Richard. He lives in Mackay. He's going to drive down to meet us there and camp there. And we're going to go up near 1770. And 1770 is a nice little town just north of here, Bundy, and it's only about an hour and a half drive depending which way you go. You can actually take like a bit of a scenic route if you've got a 4-wheel drive up through the Deepwater National Park. And that's quite a nice drive there. It's a nice beach along there. During summer they get a lot of nesting turtles along there, mostly green turtles, but they also get the odd loggerhead turtles as well. Queensland Turtle Research sends a team there each season to manage the turtle and to record data and so on, and they count the numbers and check the tags on turtles, and any turtles that's got no tags they'll apply new titanium tags, etc. So that happens along the coastline of the Deepwater National Park. So there's a couple of campgrounds there, but like I mentioned, you do need a 4-wheel drive because it's fairly sandy through there and it can get real boggy. And it's quite a nice beach. It's got quite a few rocky outcrops, cliffs and so on, but where the campsites are, there's a nice exposed beach along those areas. And you can drive up through there. And as far as I know, that track is still open all the way through up to Agnes Waters. So you can go up through there and go through to Agnes Waters, stop there, have a look around, beautiful beach, Agnes Waters, and then just leave Agnes Waters, heading back inland towards, turn right, and not far down there, probably 5-10 minute drive if that, you come to a little town called 1770. So 1770's got its name back from when Captain James Cook explored the area. He had to stop at 1770 to do some repairs, I believe. It might be some repairs, or whether if I'm mixing that up with Cooktown, I don't know. I should have done some research on it. We did learn this back when I went to school, but that's a long time ago now. So I know that he did come to land at 1770. And he named it at 1770, hence that was the year that he actually landed over there. So it's a beautiful area. There's some beautiful, nice rocky outcrops that's quite high. You can do like a walking track up to the top and you've got this beautiful lookout. It's got a lark, one of those boat larks. So for touristy wise, it's quite a nice place for touristy. But it's not overdeveloped or anything, and there's not too many people there, although there's quite a number of campgrounds there, but probably the number one campground that people always try to find and access is one at 1770 right on the beach. So you're camping literally right on the beach. But in saying that, it's not on the beach, so 1770 is like a big mouth outlet. It's like a big mouth to a river as such, and the 1770 is actually banks on that river. It's a bit like Noosa on the Sunshine Coast. Have you got your national parks and your main beach on the side and the rocks and so on? And then you're just coming around a bit up the river, and then you've got this nice little beachy area. 1770 is very similar to the Noosa. So it's worth checking out. If you want to get that prime camp spot, particularly the beachfront, at that campground at 1770, you need to book well in advance, particularly now with the COVID and people are not travelling overseas as much. There's a lot more people camping now and a lot more people getting around in the caravans. So it's actually quite difficult to get into a caravan, even campgrounds now, particularly on weekends. Most of them are all fully booked out by quite some time. Bluff Creek, where we went 2 weeks ago, apart from the peak periods, you know, weekends, on school holidays, etc., the week or so around Christmas, it's never booked out. You could usually just rock up and just go camping there, but now lately you've got to book like 2-3 weeks in advance virtually to get in there. Unless you're going through the middle of the week, sometimes through the middle of the week, if it's not school holidays or public holidays, you can easily get in there. And it's like that pretty much anywhere in Queensland, just about. Even nearby Kincoona, it's like that as well. Weekends, if you go check the bookings, it's usually most weekends are booked out. And it's never used to be like that. It's quite amazing. It's never used to be like that before. So this should be cool enough now for us to tip this out. So what I'm going to do is gently still got a bit of warmth in there. Let me see if yeah, that's still a bit warm. Let's see if we can do this. This may get a little bit, there we go. Perfect. You can see how easily that comes apart. Now we've got that. All right, so that's that layer of the baking paper. So I want to take that baking paper off so this cools down. So we need to wait till this to cool down. It's going to take a little while to cool down. And once it's cooled down, we're going to cut this in half with this Japanese bread knife that I've got here. And then we'll start putting it together. And then we'll put it in the fridge, let it set a little bit, and then she's ready to eat. So till then, when we come back, it might take an hour or two, and we'll come back then and put it together and show you the completed tiramisu. All right, welcome back. So it's approximately an hour later. So now we're going, this cake has base has cooled down. So what we're going to do now is cut this as evenly as we can in half. Okay, so now what we'll do is turn this upside down. The dish that we cooked the tiramisu in, this will now go back in there. Next we do is we want to pour half of this coffee over the mixture. So in order to make that easy, I'll put it back into the measured jug. So we know there's 250 mils there, so we'll need to pour approximately half of that. Just spread out evenly as much as possible. So this is the coffee base. So again, could quite easily make the own base, cake base, and some coffee and pour over the top. A lot of people use, when they're making the tiramisu, a lot of people actually use the those Italian biscuits, biscotti I think they're called. Okay. Next we need to do is add some of the mascarpone on the top. Possibly half of the mascarpone is going to be placed on the top and levelled out. Almost forgot, before we do that, we've got the good old Bundy rum, of course. So let's add some of this Bundy rum on here. We won't put too much on this time. So we'll probably put about 2 tablespoons on. And now, almost forgot, and now we'll add some of this mascarpone over the top. Okay. Now with the top part upside down as such, push that down, and then we'll pour the rest of the coffee evenly over that base. Okay. Now a couple more tablespoons of the Bundy rum. Now, of course, you don't have to put the Bundy rum on. Now, if you're going to feed this to any of the kids and that, don't use the Bundy rum.
She claimed there were extensive blood sprays on the chamber of the car which carried traces of fetal blood the baby Azara's age would have.
Okay, so add about 3 tablespoons there on the top. And now we will add the rest of the mascarpone to the top. So we'll add this on here now. So that's got it all out. Now we want to add some chocolate shavings on the top. What I like to use is this Victoria Original Chocochino drinking chocolate. Again, available from Coles or Woolworths in Australia. Woolies is short for Woolworths. And that's it. That is now one completed tiramisu that needs to go in the fridge to set for a while, and within the next hour or 2 that will be ready to eat. So what I'll do is I'll grab the camera and bring up some close-up shots of it before I put it in the fridge. So before I do that, those who watched right through the end, once again, thank you very much. And I really appreciate it for those who are watching and haven't subscribed to my channel. If you could subscribe, that would be wonderful. Now, the next series of few videos coming up is something new that's been posted to me to do some tests on and testing and so on. So it's to do with a base camping setup and so on. So it's coming from Drifter. So Luke from Drifter is sending up some products. Hopefully they'll be posted tomorrow from Brisbane, which is not too far away. So hopefully it should be here the following day. So fingers crossed it'll be arriving by the end of the week. I'm really keen to try this new product out. So till then, If you like this video, put a like. If you got any questions, just ask. And maybe next time we'll make this, we might give the Travel Buddy 12-volt oven a shot, and we'll try that mixer I've got on my 12-volt setup, and we'll pretend we're out camping and we're at the back of the house and see if we can make one of these tiramisu. Who knows, I might actually wait till I go camping and try out one of these, make out one of these tiramisus, and I reckon that would make another good video. So thanks for watching, particularly those who watched on the end. Please subscribe, share this channel if you can. Until next time, cheers.